All right, everybody, welcome back. And in this video, we are going to talk about how to use bots to build a unique business for yourself. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. One of the things that I don't want you to overlook is, yes, a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is how to use bots for your individual business, because a lot of you are going to be running stores, or you run local businesses, or you help, other people, and you want to use bots to try to do all these things. But, there's two different ways that I want to really discuss now, how to use bots just by themselves to run a business. And that's going to be for other people, so for local businesses, and also how to use bots in and of themselves to build a list to then market to as an affiliate marketer. So the first thing we want to discuss is local business. Now, I've discussed this sort of in earlier videos, some bot basics, if you will, but I want to discuss a little bit more about how local businesses could use this. And so we're going to write down some cool examples and some ways in which this can be done, because one of the things that you want to remember is, as time continues to go, in 2018 especially, so many more people are going to be using Messenger on a daily basis. And just looking at some basic stats, again, we're over 1.4 billion people using Messenger. There's over 100 billion messages being sent every single day, I believe. The average is 10 messages a day, I think, somewhere in that range. And so per person, which is amazing. But as more and more people become addicted to doing things on Facebook, doing research on Facebook, looking for businesses on Facebook, and communicating with businesses on Facebook, it's going to be more important that you react to things quickly. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to be looking to do this as an agency, to run bots as an agency. And I want to kind of help you out a little bit, figuring out some of the basic bots that you should be using for businesses, and we'll talk about how they can actually function. So the first one that I want to talk about is your generic storefront business, right? So we're going to talk just strictly, I'm going to call these local B and M. Right? So local B&M, that's going to be local brick and mortar businesses that have a storefront that require people to come into their store. There's a couple of different things that you need to do when it comes to bots for this kind of business. And hopefully you guys can actually see that. As I get closer to it, it should zoom more towards the whiteboard. But local brick and mortar businesses, they're going to need several. Right? So the number one that they're going to need is a welcome message. Okay? So let's talk about this. A welcome message. That's going to be the message that whenever somebody goes to their fan page, and for instance, great example is my wife loves this boutique that's down the road from us, not too far. And if she was to, and we've had this conversation, and so have you, and so have other local businesses, but like, you'll say, okay, well, I wonder if they have this, or I wonder what their hours are, or I wonder. And the thing is, we know we can pick up the phone and call them, but we don't want to have to go through that. It's that instant gratification that we want. So a lot of people are going to be turning to Messenger. And so in order to do that, we can go to their fan page. We know they're on fan page. We just look their name up. Their fan page will come up. We hit the message us button and we can message them. This welcome message would be what we saw. So I want to talk a little bit about what this welcome message can look like. So a welcome message is typically going to be a normal message that when somebody opens up the Messenger, you're going to see like a block of content right here, and you're going to have options underneath to quick reply, right? And so these welcome messages are great because this could say hours, shop our store online, and phone call, right? And this one right here pops open a phone. This one right here takes you to their store, and this one right there tells you what their hours are. So that's one, because the other thing that's going to happen is, as more and more people start to message these local businesses, if I said, hey, what are your hours, and nobody responds to me, well, then I'm not going to shop with them at that moment. Maybe down the line I will. I'm not losing a customer forever, but I am definitely losing a customer for a short period of time. Now, after the welcome message, there's another kind of message that we work with, and we just want to remember, first and foremost, the easiest way to get a bot client, bot business, is to show them this stuff. Go in and show them, and maybe even one of the ways that I've done this and approached local businesses is go in and talk to them about normal business, right? Go in and participate with them, actually shop in the stuff that they've got for sale, and also be like, hey, I messaged your guys' page. Do you guys not use Facebook Messenger? More often than not, they're going to tell you, oh, well, we have it, but we don't check it very frequently. And that's when you go, oh, well, hey, do you guys know anything about messenger bots? It's actually what I do for a living is I help people so that when somebody messages their fan page, you don't have to check it, but it can automatically reply. And you'll usually pique some people's interest, especially if you're talking to the store owner. A lot of them would say, wow, that actually sounds pretty cool. And your negotiation point here is, well, I'd be happy to set it up for you for free for a month and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, we can just shut it down, or if you don't need it. So you'd set up a welcome message for these people. Then you would set up keyword messages, right? So now we've got keyword bots. And what's going to happen here is this is going to function anytime somebody says a specific keyword, an action is going to fire. So if somebody goes to their fan page and says, what are your hours? You could have a bot that looks for what are your hours. If they find those keywords in a message, boom, right away, they're going to get a reply that says, hey, here's our hours. But what's great is you can also send them a link in that same message that says, hey, here's where you can go and shop our store. Here's where you can check out our inventory. Here's our phone number, these kind of things. So that's another great way to get people, really utilizing bots, these keywords. And the way that you set these up is what you do is you talk to the client, or you talk to the local business or whoever it might be. This is a brick and mortar example. And you say, look, let's go through your messenger and let's see what the common questions are that you're getting. What are your hours, directions, blah, blah, blah. Somebody says, hey, I want directions to your spot. You, as the person making the bot, you could take a screenshot of the Google Maps where it has the address on it and send that image to the client. So now when they click the image, it pops up Google Maps. There's all kinds of things that you can do. You just got to think outside the box. Yes, it's an image, but you can link that image to a Google Maps directory showing address details or driving directions to that local brick and mortar business. So now keyword-based messages are going to be huge. One of the ones that I really love the idea of that hasn't taken off just yet, but you could impress people pretty heavily with this one, the scan code, where instead of going to a local business and they have on their front door, it says, here's our hours, our website, our phone number. If you think about it, nobody takes action on those. Nobody's gonna go to the thing, okay, here's the phone number, let me jot it down in my phone, or here's the website, let me go to their website real quick. Most of the time that doesn't do anything, so it's just kind of wasted space. Well, you could create a scan code, put that on their window, and tell people, hey, scan this image, and if you scan this image, we'll tell you our hours, our website, all this other stuff. And so when they scan it, this welcome message can pop up with all the information that the store owner wants that customer to see. Over time, you'll be able to get even more specific. Let's say it's 8:30 in the morning or 8:45 and the store opens at 9. You could have this message say, hey, we're opening in 15 minutes. Please give us a second. Or if you'd like to get us, like to see if somebody's at the shop right now, click the call button below. And if we're there, we'll open up for you a little early. Kind of a really cool asset that you'd be able to give a lot of these local businesses so they're not missing clients anymore. But the really big advantage for a lot of these local businesses that you have to remember is they don't have to hire somebody full-time to do all of this stuff in Messenger. Instead, they get to use a bot and they get to pay you a couple $100 a month, maybe $1,000 a month, depending on the size of the company. You don't want to bid somebody a job and say, I'll charge you $1,000 a month. Although, if you think about it, that's only 10 hours. That's 100 hours at $10 an hour. So that's why it would get relatively expensive for a lot of people. They're not going to pay somebody full-time and that person they'd get more than 100 hours a month. But you could, in theory, charge $1,000 a month for most businesses that are doing pretty well because they're not going to want to hire 2-3 people to do all of this stuff. And the advantage that you get is you can then turn them into a client for something else. Email marketing, Facebook ads, social media management is another big one. This translates into social media management very, very easily. So now we've got local businesses using scan codes, keywords, welcomes. You can do the messenger URL. So I'm going to say message URL. You could actually link on a business card. You could have them change their business card instead of going to their website, which they're paying. Trust me, Most local businesses are paying anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 to get their websites built, and then they have to go back to that person every single month to have them continue to build that website and change it, or it's outdated. And most of them would say, and I've had this conversation with local businesses, well, I would change that information on my site, but it's so expensive and I don't know how to do it and it's complicated, or my developer for my website is AWOL, nobody knows where he went. Look, let's solve that problem. Let's make your URL a messenger URL. When anybody goes to it, it opens a messenger conversation with your store. You don't have to worry about building a nice, beautiful website. We'll build it all into messenger bots, and you don't have to pay me any extra, because for you, it's not any more work. We're just doing a little bit more of an integrated bot. So this is another really cool way to do it. It can reduce their costs. So we're reducing their costs and increasing their productivity with every single one of these bots, which is phenomenal. And think about it. You're also building them a subscriber list. On Black Friday, that local boutique takes all of the people who saw their welcome message, everybody who said a keyword, everybody who scanned a code, everybody who went to the messenger URL, and sends them a broadcast, that one-time broadcast, that one where you're allowed to send marketing just one time outside of the 24-hour window. They use it on Black Friday and say, hey, look, we're having 10% off at our store. Come at this time. Bring this coupon. Now you're instantly driving more sales. Guaranteed you're driving more sales. And the funny thing is, you as the agency for this company, what's going to happen is you tell people, bring this code into the store, use this code, show somebody this little code right here, right? So now when they bring that code in, and you can make it a bar scan code, an image of an actual barcode, just like any other discount coupon might have. When that gets scanned, your store owner is going to come to you and you could be like, hey, so how many sales did you do using this coupon? Oh, we did, $2,500 in sales. Oh, well, that makes it instantly worth having me around for $500 a month, right? Not bad. Good return for you. So that's how that's the beginning version of how we can use this for local brick and mortar style businesses. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about some not so local businesses, things like real estate, for instance. And I'm not going to go through too much in depth on this one, but real estate really can benefit in the future from this scan code. Right now, what happens when you go to an open house is the person, and we had this at our last house. We sold our house in Boca before moving to Tampa, and we had our real estate agent come and he set up on our dining room table and he had all these pieces of paper and pens and all this stuff. Everybody who came through, the first thing they had to do was fill out this form, and he was kind of hounding them for it. Then he just sat there. The problem was, you have two kinds of real estate agents. You have the real estate agent who just sits there, and then you have the real estate agent who follows people around. There's really no right way to do this one, right? Because if you follow them around, everybody's kind of like, this is awkward. Like, what is this guy doing? Is he going to leave? And then you're also pushing them on like, oh, look at the carpet. It's so nice. Meanwhile, the person's like, I hate that carpet. Why are you pointing out this ugly carpet? I'm going to change it if I buy the house. So then you have the other model, which is the guy who just sits there, and then some of the people are like, well, I kind of had a question about this. So they've got to leave that room and they've got to be like, I had a question about that room, but I forget what it was. So now imagine Messenger with scan codes. Somebody walks into the house, they scan a code, and it instantly sends them all the information in Messenger for the house. Now you're not printing up a bunch of pieces of paper, and you're getting their information. They're now a subscriber for you, so you can broadcast to them through Messenger, just like you would broadcast to them through email, but you're going to do it a little bit differently, right? So you could send them a message and say, hey, thanks so much for coming to the open house. Let us know what you thought, right? Send that at 23 hours. So it's almost a day after. You're still marketing to them, but you can still follow up with them, and it's all automatic. So now you can go to real estate agents as an agency for this, and you could tell real estate agents, hey, I've got this great bot. Here's an example. I 100% suggest that you set up a fake fan page and you create a fake example of how they could do this. Go through and create a carousel that has an image of every room in the house, that instead of having to send them to a website that has all of that. Each carousel can describe each room. And now somebody comes into the house, they scan the code, and you can show a real estate agent, here's me scanning the code, and boom, all this detail comes up on my Messenger message. And it's got everything from each individual room. You could even do, live demos, 3D renderings of specific rooms, depending on how high-end your real estate is. You could send them information regarding the neighborhood, the school districts, the shopping that's nearby, all the important stuff that they're going to want. And you can send that to them all in this message. And then 22, 23, 24 hours later, you can send them another message saying, hey, thanks so much for checking out the open house. Did you have any questions? And now you're bringing that house back into the front of their mind. Another really great way to use these scan codes is you could actually, as the agency, tell the real estate agent, hey, let's put a scan code in every room. So now when they scan the code in this room, it brings up a 3D rendering. And guess what? You don't have to follow them around anymore, because if they have a question, they can just message you. And if you're sitting there on the table and you're on Messenger, you can answer their questions without standing over their shoulder. Guys, this is a humongous value add for everybody in the real estate space. So that's just one niche where this works out really well. You can do the same thing with car dealerships. Instead of putting the little the tags in every window, have a little scan code. Now you don't need a salesman to follow people around all the time. You can have a virtual salesman. Somebody goes up to a car, bink, and it goes, oh, hey, this is that car, da 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 da, and go through the whole thing. It's not hard to set up scan codes. And then every time this scan code triggers, an individual message can trigger. So now you can send them an individual message about that blue Ford F-150. Tell them all the details about it and say, at the bottom, have a little button, right? You'd have a little button, so the message would come out like this. Maybe it's a carousel, so it scrolls through the different messages, the different images of the truck. So now you've got this carousel set up, and they're actually going to be able to go through all these individual images, which is awesome for you and the business and everybody else involved. But underneath each one of these, you're allowed to have a button. This button could be a call button. And now that call is going to be routed to the normal phone line that the car dealership uses, and a car dealer salesperson can come out and talk to you more about it. Now you don't have to like stalk up on people. Hey guys, how's it going? Let me tell you a little bit about this one. And it's like, I'm not here for that one. I'm here for another one. But thanks for trying, I guess. So now car dealerships can use this. And last example that I really want to give you guys is less local, even though these ideas are massive for local. Obviously, you could make a huge business doing this. I want to also talk to you guys about influencers, because this is becoming a much bigger deal. We're going to talk about influencers, right? So on the other hand of this, we have these virtual businesses that we don't even know exactly how they're making money sometimes, right? We've got a lot of people who are Instagram celebrities. We've got people who are YouTube celebrities with hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube and on Instagram and on Facebook and on Snapchat and all this place. The one problem every single one of those people has is you might have 1 million followers on Instagram, but when you post something, you're not reaching all of them because the algorithm doesn't show your post to everybody. And that's just the way that it works. Same thing on Facebook, same thing on YouTube. So one of the things that we've set up, especially for influencers in Chatmatic, is these automatic notifications, or automations, if you will, where now, let's say you have a new YouTube post, we're going to send them a notification every single time. And you can tell this to the YouTube influencer. Go to somebody who has 100,000 followers on YouTube. Tell them, look, I can increase the amount that people see your video potentially by double and triple the amount. And say, look, here's what we're going to do. Every single video that you post, underneath that YouTube video or underneath that Facebook video, or if it's on Facebook, you can use a comment trigger. Every time somebody comments, they get a link that then sends them to a sign-up page where they can sign up for notifications of all of your new posts. So now you've got this lady who's doing organic cooking recipes, and she's got 100,000 followers on YouTube, and you go to her and you say, look, I can increase the views and your subscribers on every single video. All you've got to do is let me make you a page so we can notify people through Messenger when you've got new videos on your page. Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, we'll do it free for a month, and then afterwards we'll talk about the value. Now again, there's two different businesses you can create with this. You can either charge that person for these live notifications, right? So you can charge the organic cook recipe lady and be like, hey, it's $500 a month, and every message that we send will promote your book, right? We'll notify them of the thing, and then we'll say underneath, grab your book here. If they click grab your book, it'll show them a link to the book, and you can sell your recipe book and notify people of all of your new videos. Now, Chatmatic will automatically do this. You set up one message, it'll grab the thumbnail from YouTube, it'll grab the title, and it'll automatically send that out to the subscribers that you choose to get this. Now you can do this on new posts on YouTube. You can do this on live video on YouTube. So now when you go live, your subscribers are going to find out instantly that you're live. So you're not waiting for people to show up, number one. And number two, you're not hoping that, YouTube, they just happen to be on YouTube and see that you're live. Instead, you can send them a message and say, I'm live, come watch me, right? So now we're gripping them and taking them out of whatever they're doing and bringing them into our live broadcast. So this also works on Facebook Lives. Facebook Live, it's a little bit more interactive because now if they go live on Facebook or if they have a post on Facebook, you can say comment below to get this, right? And you make that the pinned post in the video. It's a pinned post, so it stays at the top. And now whenever they comment, they're going to get something. They can turn into a subscriber, and now we're getting them throughout this path of being able to send them more messages as well. But we want notifications, a real notification subscription, to remain a notification only. So new posts on Facebook, new live videos. You can do all kinds of really unique stuff. It'd be a little bit more advanced for me to cover that in this particular video, but you'll be able to tag users so that if when they subscribe, you can say, do you want all of our posts, just live videos, just, pre-made videos, and they can select what they want. And then you can tag them and only send them that stuff automatically, which is really cool. So you don't really have to do a lot behind the scenes, but it does look like you're doing a lot, hence why you'll be able to keep these customers. And something to keep in mind as well, local business and influencers, you can help them build their influence and you can help them build their business. And if they ever tried to cancel, you could tell them, hey, look, I know that you want to cancel, and that's fine, I understand. But when you cancel, you're losing all these subscribers. So the 150 people, the 550 people, the 10,000 people that have engaged with your messenger bot in some way, they're going to be gone, and we won't be able to reach out to them anymore. Sorry, but that's just the way that it goes. We can work out a different rate if you want to stay with us, or we can pause so that you don't have to lose everything. But this way, you're going to keep clients pretty heavy because they can't move that subscriber to another company. If they lose you, they lose the subscribers, and that's the cool part. So the next business that I really wanted to talk about was more along the lines of a bot just being a bot. So you can have productivity bots. You can have bots that send a horoscope every single week. And what you're going to do is you're going to build this big viral bot, right? So like a horoscope bot, and every day, on a normal day, your call to action is share this with a friend, right? And so people start sharing it. They tell their friends about your cool bot that sends awesome horoscopes. And then it ends with this little, maybe once a month, you send a horoscope that says, which one are you? When they select it, it shows them a specific shirt. And now you're selling shirts. So there's ways to monetize bots that are just bots as well. And I think that's going to be a big avenue for a lot of you in the future, is helping people with productivity. So setting up a bot that says, hey, what time do you wake up in the morning? Oh, I wake up at 6. At 6 a.m. every morning, do you want me to send you a motivational quote? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, cool. Now you've got a bot that automatically sends motivational quotes. And we're going to be able to do that kind of stuff through, a system like Chatmatic, where, and this is a little bit advanced for some of you guys, but there's a free platform out there called If This Then That. And it's ifttt.com. And you could actually tell Chatmatic through that system, hey, take a daily quote from this company and send it to all of my users who are tagged with daily quotes. And then the time it'll distribute is individual as well. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can do. And then now you're building this relationship with the client by sending them these cool daily quotes. And once a month, maybe you send them a quote and something else. So there's just so much that you're going to be able to do coming into the near future with bots just being bots, and they automate processes for people and they help make productivity for a lot of individuals. You can also go to local businesses and integrate receipts for them and do scan codes for them. And there's almost no limit to what we're going to be able to do with bots. That's what gets me all geeked up about it, is I think that we're just on the cusp of bots. I feel like everybody who's watching this right now, you're ahead of the curve. We're probably 2 years early to a really big party. It's one of those where, before email happened, there was a lot of people who were like, oh, email, it's kind of like whatever. I don't really see it being that big of a deal. And it's like, well, no, you build a big enough list of email clients, and now you can actually sell stuff to them. And that's what we're doing with chatbots. So the marketing capabilities with bots are huge. You've really got to look into what is capable outside of just sending a message and then responding to messages. We've got all these different things with the scan codes, the messenger URLs. Keywords are obviously huge, but there's just a million different ways that you're going to be able to do something. And, for instance, here's a great example I'll show you guys. Let's look at this book here, right? Outliers, good book. What if on the back there was a scan code that said, scan this for 1 free chapter, or for a free, for 2 free chapters, scan this code. Well, now I could scan it, get a free chapter, but now I'm on, Malcolm Gladwell's messenger list, right? And he can actually give me marketing messages and continue to sell me this book well after the fact. Use me as somebody who could share this message, right? So there's just an infinite amount of possibilities as more people start using the scan code to then deliver and create chatbots, the more stuff that we're going to see happening. And it's going to be great. And lastly, another example that just came to mind is, let's look at a gym. So a gym has a lot of equipment in the gym, right? So you go into a gym and you see the reverse, pull down machine. On that machine, they could have a messenger scan code. When it's scanned, it could say, hey, thanks for checking out our pull down machine. And now the gym equipment provider could put a 2-minute tutorial video in Messenger showing you how to use that machine. Or the gym could take that one off and put their own scan code up. And now the gym could have a 2-minute tutorial that says, hey, would you like, for $15, would you like for one of our trainers to come over and show you how to use that piece of equipment the right way, right? And you do a little funny video of like a bunch of people failing on how to use it and what not to do and all this. Hey, for $15, click below and we'll charge your account, right? And they click below and that's going to notify somebody, hey, Susie's over at the cable pull down machine and she's willing to pay $15. Charge her account $15 and go help her. And then the bot would automatically respond and say, hey, we've got a personal trainer coming over to give you a hand right now. Again, the amount of things that you're going to be able to do with this is absolutely unreal. And it's going to be exciting to see how this continues to change. I think the reference scan codes are going to be a much bigger thing as we continue to grow. So pay attention to where those can be used and how they could be used and the things that they're going to be able to do. Scanning codes brings stuff to us instead of making us go to it. And I just see the potential there being absolutely huge. So hopefully this gives you guys some really cool ideas of how to use bots to actually create a real business, not only just for other businesses, but a bot in and of itself that runs and does certain things, and how every single person on this planet could benefit from a scan code, a reference URL, trigger messages, welcome messages, and everything else in between. So it's going to be exciting to see what you guys do with this stuff. Hopefully you're going to take this and start executing it. I would suggest to everybody, go out and do it for as many people as you can for free. Don't worry about getting paid for it just yet, because you need to prove to people that there's a lot of value in it first. And a lot of people out there just don't get that Messenger is becoming a big deal. Just like originally nobody understood Facebook was a big deal. Nobody understood email was a big deal. Nobody understood Google was a big deal. All of them became massively important, and they're billion-dollar industries now. And I see Messenger going along that same exact path, because now we've all got Messenger on our phone. Now we can actually do things and have interactive relationships with businesses and individuals all from Messenger without having to open up a browser and type anything in. So it's making things much easier. So the amount of business that you guys are going to be able to create is phenomenal. Get comfortable with this stuff. Create fan pages, make bots, do this kind of stuff. In the next videos, we're going to talk about Chatmatic individually, the kind of functions that we have, how it rolls out, and the things that you'll be able to do with that. So I'm excited to share some really cool stuff with you on Chatmatic as well. Thanks.